Yes, give me the. Okay, once again, we've started our another episode of an assignment I gave. Let's see whether we can do something on this particular configuration about math. It's good for us to come back once again to study and make things so powerful. So let's try our best at least to sketch what I'm about to sketch. It's on network address translation. As we have already dealt with other ones, which is static and dynamic, there is assignment that I give out, and I want all of us to try our hands on it and see how best we did. If not, let's see some lapses in it, then solve that problem. Okay. Once again, like what I said, we have gathered to configure an IP address that we were about to solve. So I want all of us to sketch this, okay? We are going to configure network address translation in an address pool range of 64646465 to 70 stroke 192. The 192, all of us know what the 192 means. Okay, now let's go on. Let's start with sketching. I told you guys that we have to sketch together and configure everything together so that you know where the problem lies. Let's bring the pieces together. You put one PC here, another PC here, then put a switch, and put another switch also here, put another switch here. Then the router, I'm using 1941. So I put one router here, another router here. And you can add server to it. I added a server because as time goes on, you will need it. Okay. So let's name this server BF SRVDC1. That will be the server name. And this one, this switch is going to be BF SW2. Then this router is going to be the ISP. Then we have this one as a company. But you remember, okay, so like what I was saying, let's continue. Now, this particular one is the company and this one is ISP. Okay, so let's go straight to this one. Let's go to the company. Let's put it off. Let's put the Cisco router off. Then choose the HWICT because we want a serial. We'll be connecting the two routers as serial because of what I gave you yesterday. So just click on this one and drag to this place, then put it on. Okay, do the same thing to this one, which is the ISP. They are the one who is putting spirit and everything. So now, what we are going to do, make sure that you connect the rest of the PCs to their various what cable. So I choose the straight through to this PC. Let's connect it. Then let's connect this one also. The router, you know that the router uses what? Crossover cable. Then when you are using the serial, always connect the ISP. Okay. I supposed to, I didn't put the serial there. Okay, so we have this one, the router also to the switch. Then we connect our server to it. That's the BFSRB server to it. Let's see the IP address that we have. Now we'll be NATing this IP address. So we have IP address pool range 4 NAT. So that one, you remember yesterday it was 64.64.65-70 slash 192. But you can remember this one yesterday. Okay. So it's telling us that this is the IP address pool range for the NAT that we are going to distribute. You understand? This particular one. So we have an IP address for the inside. So here we will type inside. Then over here we will type outside. Telling us that the serial is the one that is going to cope with packet that will move in from inside toward outside. Then we have inside a packet that will move in from LAN straight to the GIG 0/0 network. So let's put an IP address of that inside connections. It's going to be 172.16.10.1 and this one /24. You remember? So we are giving this IP address to the router. Let's press on Control V to copy. Then we give this one as what? 10. Okay. We give this one as 10. We are done configuring, giving the IP address note to the PCs. It doesn't mean that what we just did, we gave an IP address to the interface. No. Let's do other side also. So on this side, we have 198.133.219.1, then /30. The 30 over there is classless. So when we are calculating it, we must try our best to know what will be the subnet, because how many bits that we have borrowed from this one is 6 bits. But you know, yes. So Control V. So let's put it here and make that one as 2. So if this one is 6, that is 30. Let me just type something here. 128, 64, 32, 16, 8, 4, 2. So we'll be having something like this. So we'll be having something like this. So each of this. Now, when we are placing it, I should zoom it there. Are you okay? Okay, so now let's go to the notepad. This one, there is a look back on it. There is a look back on this particular one. Okay, let me write a look back down on the, it's on the ISP. But here, we don't have an IP address there. This one, we'll be given IP address later on. So this one is L, look back 0, 192.168. Okay, let me change it, 192.31.7.1, then stroke 24. That is for the loopback IP address. Okay. So we have 1, let me arrange it well. Do you understand what we are doing? So when you add this one to this one, you will get what? 192. Is that not it? So let me just highlight it again. No, because of the subnet mask, I'm creating this. Okay. So we have 6, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. So that one is going to be slash 25 slash 26 slash 27 slash 28 slash 29 slash 30 slash 31 and slash 32. So we have something like this. So we are just calculating it. So let's calculate it together, okay? Because this one is on what? Base 2. So 2 raised to the power what? 7. Before you get 120 what? 8. But this place is the subnet max. Are you following it? So 20. When you add this one to this one, you get 192. Add 32 to 92, you get what? You said? You get what? Yes. 32 plus 192. Is it 224?
It's 224.
Thank you. 224. Now add 16 to 224. You get what?
240.
So 240. Now add 8 to 240. You get 248. Add 4 to 248. You get 252. Now add 2 to 252. You get so 254. Then when you add 1 to 254, you get 255. So now when you check our IP over here, is slash what? 30. So if it's slash 30, then it means that it's 255. Yes, 252. So our IP subnet max is going to be slash 30 is 255.255.255.252. Is that not it? Thank you very much. So let's go on to our configuration. Let's go on. So it means that this side, this will be their subnet what? Max. Let's go. Now, we are going to configure the company first, but I want us to configure the ISP. Okay, let's configure the ISP. Now, connect another laptop to it so that we can stand on the laptop to enter into our network by using a console what? Cable. By using a console cable. Okay, so now, shall we start the journey? Shall we? Okay, let's configure the ISP first. Okay, so let's click on the ISP. Let's go click on the laptop, go to desktop, and go to terminal. It seems I've not put the system on. Everything is off. Okay, so now I've put it on. That is why it's reading. Now click no. Then you type the EN. Let's go on config T. The host name is going to be ISP. Now let's type IP. No, type no IP domain hyphen name. This one will help you so that at least the router will not get access to the DNS routing. Okay, the DNS, yes. When you type, said this one turns off domain name system. It turns because sometimes when you are about to type a certain word, it will tell you that IP address routing, DNS IP address routing. You see it. Okay, we don't want that to happen. Look, let me just show you one example. Now, I want to go into this one because this one already has been what? Configured. Now, let me show you something. If I'm on the company like this, if I enter into the company and I said no, no, and I type here, instead of me to type config and I said this and I enter, I've recently said translating QG domain server. So you must wait for 1 minute before it will come up. So we don't want that one to happen because if you are typing and you type wrong words, it shouldn't translate it. That is why we earlier on type no IP domain name. So remember, that is what you have to type so that when you type wrong text or any other commands, it will not translate it. So Control Shift and 8, Control Shift and 6. Okay, you press on Control Shift and 6 then. So for us to do that, we will come on this one, but let us still be on our what? ISP. Let's be on our ISP. Fine. So we are done. Now let's give an IP address. Okay. Let's put a password on our ISP. So type enable password, enable. But for us, we will type enable, but why can't we make it so secret? So let's type secret. Okay, so that our password will not be plain text. It should be in secret. So whilst you are on the configuration mode, make sure that you type what? Enable what? Secret. Then put your password there. Yes, that is my password. That is my password. So you type enable secret password 12. Then you enter. Shall we go on? Now let's go to the line console. Let's type exec so that our router will not what? Log off whilst we are not using it. So put it 0, which is 0 seconds. Then after you finish, you type login. Type login. Sorry, I've not set password. So let me set a password. Then we just type what? The login. Sorry. So let's set the password. Password. Let's type the same password. Then the login. Yes. Then we have to make sure that it said we have to the login synchronize. Commands will be what? Appended to a view line. So inside we have login synchronize and synchronization. This one is just something that can help you alongside. At least when you are configuring a router, you must provide all these things so that it will stick in your mind. But then if somebody give you a work order to do, you forget all those things. By the time you realize you have configured everything, then you left the server, the router just like that without attending to what? Password, those things. So please, it's good for you to do all those things. Okay. So let's go to login. Login. Synchronize. Synchronous. Synchronous. Now let's type exit. Let's type exit. Now we are going to give IP address to our serial. We are going to give an IP address to our serial. So let's enter inside the IP address of our serial. Mine is SE0/1/0. So INT SE0/1/0. Then IP address, we have 198.133.219.2 space, you know the subnet mask, we just calculated it, 255.255.255.252. Enter. Then type no shutdown. Now let's configure what we call the clock rate. Okay, the clock rate is we have to assign a clock rate so that, because default we have a lot of clock rate. Are you following it? A lot of clock rate. If I said we must see a clock rate, is a packet that have to pass through the serial. So how many packets you want, we can reduce it. Okay, so keep this in mind. We have a clock rate, but let us now type clock. Let me show you something. Type clock and bring the question tag. You see the rate is there. When you type clock, you see the rate is there. Yes, it said rate. Configure serial interface clock speed and default. Let's see, type the rate and let's see the speed. The question tag. You see the speed. You see the speed. The speed is too much. Okay. At what time it takes for the serial to transmit what data? The default ones is on 40, that is 400,000. But we can reduce it. We want to reduce it to 56, that is 64,000. So that the rate have to be what? The rate have to be simple for us. So oh, it's the same thing. There, that is a GIG. Which one? It's the same. You can also create clock rate on it. Okay. The clock rate is the speed that it takes the interface to transmit what? A packet. And if your clock rate is small, if your clock rate is small, why don't you let it be what? Lesser. Let me just explain these things to you. Look, if two people are about to run 100 meters, eh, and it takes Mr. A to run 9 seconds, and it takes Mr. B to run 2 minutes, which one of these athletes will Ghana send to Commonwealth to go and run? I think the one that ran the less. Are you following it? Yes. Because if your time is small, we don't want somebody who can run 2 minutes, then we send to the Commonwealth to go and run for us. We don't want that. We want somebody who time is short so that he or she can finish the 100 meters within a no time. Are you following it? The same thing applies to what? The interfaces. We want an interface that must have less rate, clock speed, so they can read the packet fast. Are you following it? Yeah. So when you check, you can see that it's up. So when you type I said we are choosing the fives, that is 65,000. So please type the 56,000 and enter. He said this one will only apply to DCE. You understand? DCE. And when we check when we check, you can see that this one is not DCE. DCE is the one that have the clock. You see the clock is there. Look, you can see there's a clock here. But do you have your clock here? You have your clock on what? Company. Is that not it? Check the serial. Which one of the serial is based on the clock? Is it a company or the ISP? Is it the clock is on the company here? Then it means that if you're about to configure the company, we must configure the clock rate on it. Because right now the clock rate is not on what? ISP. It's rather on what? Company, which it shows at the top. Okay. So that is why it's telling us that it's what? DCE over there. Then it means that if yours didn't show, then it means that that one is what? A clock rate. You see the clock on that ISP. Check yours. Bring it.
The clock is not here. The clock is here.
Be on what? It's good to let the clock rate be on ISP. It's good. But other ones, like the company, if you check, you can see that I have my clock rate rather on the company. You see, I have my clock rate rather on what? On the company. So that is what. So now let's continue. Let's continue. Yes. So now if we enter into the company, you configure the clock rate. Yeah, you will not configure. Because if you try to configure, you end up getting the error that I'm having. It's showing on the screen. Yes. Okay, so let's go on. But we've given an IP address already. So no shutdown. It's very simple for us to go about it. Let's go. Let's type exit. No, remaining the look back. So let's type exit. Type exit. So on ISP, we have a look back over there. Or yes, so the look back that we have on the ISP. Let's type int look back. Our look back is 0. Oh, is 0. The look back is 0. So let's type the IP address. The IP address of the loopback is 192.31, that is 31.7.1. So 192.31.7.1. Then the subnet mask 255.255.255.0. Though you are not supposed to type no shutdown, just type what? Exit, and let's go on.
You should not type no shutdown, only exit.
Yeah, because it's already enabled. Okay. Now, I want you guys to check. It said IP addresses. Now we are going to create a static route. And the static route is going to base on those IP addresses here. That is NAT. We'll be using this one to create our NAT. They said IP address pool range for NAT is 64.64.64.65 up to 70. So we have 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70. So how many IP addresses? 6 solid what? IP addresses. Are you following it? So now we are going to create a static what? IP address. And a static IP address is not like a dynamic IP address. A static IP what? Address. Okay, so let's now create let us now route. We are going to route. So type IP route 64.64.64.64. So we have the 64. How many? Then 255.255.255.192. When you check here is /192, and 192 is what? 192 is what? Slash what? 28. You remember? I'm not supposed to, I don't want to put slash 28 alongside this one. That's why I put what? So it's what? 192. So it's slash 28. Okay. Now, when you are routing, you have to route in such a way that against the opponent what? Router. I'm on the ISP. So I will type the opposite interface. So when you bring the question tag, bring the question tag. Which one? 64. Yeah, it's 1, 2, 3. No, from 64. So we are dealing with the next one is going to be the system will assign an IP address static to another one 65, 66, 67, 68. But it started from what? 64. Yes. Who are they understand? So now what we are going to do is that bring the question tag. Which interface is opposite the ISP? Between the company and the ISP, the only interface that is opposite is serial. If this one, if you are here using Giga, then it means you have to choose Gig. Are you following it? If the opponent own is Fast Ethernet, you have to choose what? Fast Ethernet, FE. But right now, the opponent own is what? Serial. So we have to choose what? Serial. So here, you type serial. Then you check the port number. The port number is what? 0/1/1. So it's going to be 0/1/0. Okay? Because mine 0/1/0. Then you enter. It said default route without gateway. If not, a point-to-point interface may impact performance. Are you following it? Yes, this one is telling us that we have to do point-to-point. So we can very remember, I taught you people point-to-point routing. Point-to-point. So if you bring the question tag like this, then space, then you bring then it tells you, you can enter, or you can have 1 up to, okay, 1 up to. But don't worry, we entered and it gave us what? This one. It means that we have to just leave it. Let's continue. This is how we create the static route. Yeah, this is a static route, but we will enter inside, we'll go to the company and do the same thing. But the company own is going to be different because we'll be going out.
So when you enter serial,
Check it.
when you enter serial 0/1/0, station tag.
It's telling us that default route without gateway, if not point-to-point interface, may impact what? Performance. We have already done, we finished, but because it's not, we are not using ISP as our gateway. Are you following it? What you have done right now is telling us the default route without gateway, which means we have configured this one without gateway. And all of us know that the gateway rather supposed to be on the company. The ISP there, they give the public IP address. They give the public IP address. Okay. So shall we go on? Shall we go on? So type exit. Type exit. Then you type the copy run startup. Type copy run startup. You can type the RWR for building configuration of the router. So now on the ISP, we are done with the ISP. Are you following it? We have to now configure the company. The company own is the one that we will be configuring the NAT. Okay. Are you done with the ISP? We are done with the ISP. Now let's go to the company. We are now on the company. Click inside the laptop. Then already we are on the company. Are you there? We are on the company. All of you, are you there? Should I continue? Okay, so now let's continue the rest of our configuration on what the company router. So en enter, then the config t, then the hosts. You type what? Company. Enter. So now we are on the company. Type no IP domain hyphen name. Enter. No IP domain name. This one turns off DNS resolution to avoid wait time due to DNS lookup for spelling errors. Enable secret. Enter. Line console. Exec timeout. Password. And the last one have to be login synchronous. Are you done? Are you done? Buba, what about you and Jeff? And the router. I hope you are done owning it. Okay, so let's return to global configuration. Type exit. Then let's move to interface configuration mode, which we are going to configure GIG. Okay, so int GIG 0/0. We want to configure this in the interface. So enter, then IP address 172.16.10.1, then 255.255.255.0. Enter. No shut. So the line now is green. Listening, forwarding. Let's do the same thing to the serial. We are now going to configure the serial. Remember that we're supposed to configure the clock rate. We have it on the company router. So remember. Okay, let's go. Type exit. Then int serial. Mine is 0/1/0. 0/1/0. So IP address, we have 198.133.219. 255.1, then 255.255.255.252. Enter. No shut. So you can see that we have already configured the other side of it. So that is why it's displaying for us that yes, they can now have what? Communication. Green, green. I hope yours is showing that way. Are you following what we are doing? We are going gradually till we come to conclusion. Perfect. Now, clock rates. Have you seen when you enter, it went through? When the moment you enter, the thing went through. Now, type exit. Now we are going to route. On the company, we are going to route. So IP route, IP route 0.0.0.0 space 0.0.0.0. Then the reason why we are routing from 0.0.0, we don't know the IP address on any other word, ISP, internet, we don't know. But right now we know the opposite word, interface. And when you check the opposite interface is this one. Are you following it? You bring the question tag, let me show you something. When you check the opposite one, we have an interface of what? 19. So it means that it's a serial of this. So we are going to type that particular one IP address. And the moment you type, either is on serial, either is on GIG, or is on fast Ethernet. Are you following it? Because this one is on serial, this side is on serial. So since it's on serial, you can just put the serial there, then type the IP address against that because you are routing. The reason why also we choose the 0.0.0.0, this one we don't know an opponent what public IP address that they are using. We don't know. Plus their subnet mask, we don't know. But right now we know an interface that is ahead of us, which is this one. We know it. You ask crossover about if we know, why can't we? Yes, we route an IP address, public one before. Okay, so now serial, then you type 198.133.219.2. Enter. It says what? And no subnet mask. Let me remove the serial from there. Let me remove the serial. Yes, remove the serial. We can't specify. We can't tell them that okay, they are using serial, they are using gig, or they are using what? Yes. Because the first command.
Where will you add that IP address?
Which one?
The 198. Outside IP address.
Yes, the outside, that is the one against this one. Against this. But if you choose serial, let me just explain things to you. Right now, you don't know the hospital just opposite us. You don't know whether the doctor is there or is not there. But in your mind, you know that doctor is there. But if you don't know whether the doctor is there or the doctor is not there, what you have to do is that there must be a doctor. It's like somebody is asking you, the ship that is sailing, what is the captain's name? What will you tell the person? There is a ship that is sailing on waters, going. Then your friend is asking you, Buba, please, what is the captain's name? To you, you would think that your friend is asking you a question, but your friend rather is telling you the name of the captain. Because the name of the captain is called what? So now we have IP route 0.0.0.0, then 0.0. So we are typing the opponent IP address, which is this one, okay, for routing. That is why when we type the Syria, we don't know whether that opponent is using Syria. We don't know. So we have to type the IP address for the public. Okay, let's go. We are still on the company. Now we are going to permit an IP address. And when you check here, the permitting of the IP address is going to be 172. That's what we are going to permit. So now let's go. Let's type access list. Our access list will be choosing 100. Okay, let's choose 20. Okay. Jeff, are you okay? Are you doing it? Okay. So permit. Then 172.16.10.0. Then 0.0.0.255. So we permit this. So we've permitted this one. Are you through? Now it's time. It said define which address are permitted through. These addresses are those that will be allowed to be translated with NAT. Now we are going to create NAT by combining list 20 with the interface of what? Syria. So we are now going to combine it. So let's go. IP NAT. Inside source. Then list. Our list is what number? 20. Tap. Then let's type the list. We must know the list, which is 20. Interface. Is it not on Syria? It's on Syria. The interface is on Syria. So let's type Syria. Because when you check the question tag, you see we have Syria there. It's not gig, it's not fast Ethernet, it's not Ethernet, it's Syria. Okay, so let's put Syria there. Then bring the question tag. Bring the question tag. So the Syria interface number, the Syria interface number is going to be, mine is this. So choose yours, 0/1/0 space, then the question tag, you will see overload. Overload and address translation. Overload and IP address translation. Though what you did yesterday was okay, but you see now the changes of it. So type the overload and enter. That's all. So he said, create NAT by combination list 20 with the interface serial number. Overload will take place. Why? Overload is the one that will help us to transmit our serial access list number. Let's go on. We finished with this. Now we are going straight to the interface again. Let's enter inside this interface, Syria. And this is Syria is outside, but you know, I've written outside here. So type int Syria 0/1/0. So he said IP NAT outside. IP NAT outside. Then type exit, and let's enter inside this one. This one is inside. Okay, this one is inside. So int JID 0/0. Then IP NAT inside. We have one which is outside, we have one which is inside. And check, we have inside here, and we have outside here. Oh my God. Shall we go on? Outside classes. Okay, so let's come out from it. Let's come out from it. Now, we will configure the OSPF here. We'll configure the OSPF there. But remember, the top one, they said the pool. So we are going to take these IP addresses, okay, as a NAT. We are going to just NAT these ones. But remember, have we done that already? No, we haven't. We're supposed to do it on company. So that's what we are going to do. So let's go. Well, today one is wrong. It was sweet. So let's go. IP NAT pool. The pool we are going to choose BF. Okay, let it be BF. So now let's go. So BF, we are going to type 64.64.64.65 space 64.64.64.70. Then the net mask. Then the net mask. The net mask is going to be, the net mask, check it well, is so 255.255.255.192. Enter. So this one is the one that the router is going to apportion to individual pieces when the translation is in process. Okay? Because this particular PC will be transmitting to the other side of your network, realizing that, oh, the IP address that has been supposed to NAT is this one. So the router will be giving this IP address to this PC, but this PC will not know that it's using this IP address because it said what? That is IP address range. And you saw that, look at how the range is. It said 64, 64, 64, 65 to 70, which means that 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70. With a subnet mask /20 what? 8. Let's go on. Are we finished? Okay, so let's go to this PC. Let's go to this. We are going to give this IP address to it. This very one. 172.16.10.10. Remember that is slash what? 24. It's slash 24. So you have to be what? 24 bit. Then let's put the router's what? IP address there. 172.16.10.1. There's no DNS because we don't have a DNS. So when giving this one, we have to also provide this one. So providing this one, we are going to give 20. Okay. 20. So let's give that one 20. 172.16.10.20. 255. 172.16.10.1. Set and done. We haven't finished. Our last thing that we have to do is the OSPF. So let's configure the OSPF between them. Are you following it? Let's go to the router. Let's go to the company router. Are you there? Are you on the company router? Are you on the company router? Teresa, are you there? Buba. So should I continue? Fine. Now let's route OSPF. Let's choose 100. Then the router ID, you can make it 2.2.2.2. So we are typing the network that is 172.16.10.0, then 255.255.255.0 area. Let's choose area 0. Okay, let's enter. Now we finish. Oh yeah, you can choose any other area. Now let's type another network. This time what we are going to do, we are going to type a network of 198. Okay, so 198.133.29.0, then 255.255.255.252. Then the area is going to be 0. And we say the same area 0. Now the company side is finished. Now let's go to the ISP. Remember, on ISP this side, I didn't give you an IP address. I'll give you an IP address, then we configure it later on. Okay. Yes. So let's go. Okay. Config T. So the route OSPF, we chose 100. Choose 100. The router ID, we chose 2.2.2. The first one was 2.1. So we choose 3.3.3.3. Then the network. We are going to only route one network. One network plus the loopback IP address. Okay, is 2 on ISP. So 198.133.255.2 219.0, then 255.255.255.252, and the area is going to be area 0. I hope yesterday you saw the adjacency. How many of you had yours adjacency yesterday? Yes. So remaining the lookback IP address, which is 192.168.31.7.0. So let's type the network of that one also. Network 17.192.31.7.0 and 255.255.255.0 area 0. Area 0. It's good to go. It's good. It's good. If you like, you can just highlight them there. Okay. So now let's go and check the ping and see how it will go. Okay. If you check this one, you put the mouse on it, you see that 10.1. You have this one, 10.1. So let's go to this PC first, PC 0. Let's ping 172.16.10.1. Okay, so this side for the LAN is pinging. It's pinging. Now let's type the ping again, and let's type this one. Then from there, let's type this one. So let's ping 198.133.219.2. Check whether it's pinging. Is it pinging? Do you have all yours pinged? Okay, so that's bring the curtains for today. Thank you very much, at least, for a wonderful class, a success class. Share and make sure that you subscribe. Thank you. I love you all. I'll give you an assignment. Thank you very much.